Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking 30 years of fiercely contrarian business secrets from Simon Squibb. We are talking about a guy who built 19 companies and invested in 78 different startups, essentially creating the ultimate cheat code for escaping the traditional corporate grind. So, if you've ever felt like the standard corporate playbook just, well, doesn't make any sense, you are absolutely in the right place. Think about this for a second. What if literally everything the school system taught us about business was just dead wrong? I mean, traditional advice always tells us, hey, go find a gap in the market, or you have to find a hyper-specific niche. But Squibb's reality, it's entirely different. He argues that you shouldn't look for a gap at all. You should just follow your absolute obsession. When he launched his marketing agency Fluid, there were already 500 other businesses doing the exact same thing right in his local area. He didn't have some wildly original idea. He just had this deep, undeniable obsession with marketing. And by leaning heavily into what he loved, he simply outlasted everybody else. So, here is our roadmap for today. First, starting with purpose, not plants. Second, the real secret to winning. Third, unconventional PR and marketing hacks. Fourth, some totally contrarian ways to get funded. And finally, building a purpose-driven team. Let's kick things off with Section 1, starting with purpose. Seriously, throw out your business plans. So many entrepreneurs get completely paralyzed by this idea that they need a rigid 20-page business plan before they can even register a domain name. But successful businesses, they actually start with a gut instinct and a passion. You've got to completely ignore that static business plan mentality. Just toss it. Instead, replace that dead document with an infinite liquid mind map. It's incredibly freeing. You just start right in the center with your hobby, the thing you actually love doing. And from there, you branch out to the business model. Then, who is the network you can build? Who's the team you're going to need? What are the future products? It's completely fluid. If the market changes, well, you just draw a new bubble. It evolves organically over time, rather than boxing you into some rigid plan that's going to fail the second it makes contact with reality anyway. And look, when you're just starting off, you do not need massive capital. What you need is unconventional execution. Squid points to Airbnb for this. Back when they had zero money, they literally bootstrapped their company by selling Obama-themed cereal boxes at political conventions. I mean, how crazy is that? They experimented with simple, scrappy executions and wildly unconventional revenue models just to get off the ground without taking on a mountain of debt. Moving on to Section 2, the secret to winning. It's all about embracing delayed reward. We really need to unlearn this massive lie that simply working hard guarantees success. Think about it. If working hard equaled success, every nurse on the planet would be a multimillionaire, right? The real secret is delayed gratification. 10 years. That is how long Facebook waited before they truly started monetizing your user base. They focused entirely on building enormous brand value and an unshakable ecosystem way before they ever worried about extracting profit. It proves that building real brand value takes incredible patience. Don't rush to charge your customers if doing it for free at first is what builds a relationship that lasts a decade. Which brings us to a massive mindset shift. Success is actually accepting failure. Learn to be a D student. The whole school system programs us to think that getting an A is the absolute only path to success. But A students, they're usually terrified of failing. They are completely paralyzed by perfectionism, and that is exactly why 80% of A students end up working for D students. The D students embrace taking risks, they shed their short-term ego, and they honestly aren't afraid to look a little foolish while they figure out how to win. Let's jump into Section 3, sales, marketing, and PR hacks. Creating systems of true value. Now, sales and marketing are not sleazy corporate tactics. When you do them correctly, they're actually a long-term system for delivering incredible value to the people who genuinely need it. Squibb has this radically simple 3-step process for this. Step 1, do they need you? If the answer is no, walk away immediately. Step 2, do you like them? This one is huge. It is incredibly radical to walk away from a lucrative deal simply because you don't genuinely like the client, but it's absolutely essential. If they're rude to the waiter at lunch, drop them. Working with people you despise is just a recipe for a miserable life. Now, if the answer to those first 2 questions is yes, then step 3, the deal, well, that just happens almost automatically. And when you are communicating with those clients, always remember to sell the sizzle, not the steak. When Steve Jobs launched the iPhone, he didn't just rattle off a bunch of specs about Intel processors. He marketed the philosophy. He sold the feeling of being a creative game changer. You have to market the outcome and the emotion, not the boring technical details. If you want to completely hack traditional PR, You have to hear this incredible story. Squibb literally bought a random staircase at an auction in London for £26,000. Just a staircase leading to absolutely nowhere. Then he attached a doorbell to it and told people to come ring it and pitch their dreams to him. The result? Global PR, front page news all over the world, and eventually a massive sponsorship from Amazon Ring. It just proves that marketing shouldn't be a snooze fest. It should be fun, highly disruptive, and culturally relevant.
All right, Section 4, Unconventional Funding, How to Avoid the Dragon's Den.
The traditional route of desperately pitching to venture capitalists is totally broken. Honestly, it often just buys you a very demanding new boss. We need to dismantle that whole myth perpetuated by pitch shows like Dragon's Den. To win over an angel investor, you must invoke the give without take philosophy. Never, ever ask for their wallet right out of the gate. Ask for their specific help and their advice. Make them feel valued for their brain and their expertise, not just their bank account. The old saying is true. If you ask for money, you get advice. But if you ask for advice, you very often get money.
Now, if you do decide to bring on a co-founder to share the financial and operational load, there is an absolute golden rule you cannot break: the 50-50 equity split. I know. It is so tempting to think you deserve more because it was your brilliant idea, right? But a 52-48 split breeds instant, toxic psychological resentment. The person sitting at 48% will forever, subconsciously, believe they only need to do 48% of the work. Go 50-50 and treat them as an absolute equal from day one.
And remember, there are literal cheat codes for funding that let you bypass investors entirely. You can pre-sell your product via crowdfunding so your own customers fund the manufacturing. You can get your employees to invest. Squibb actually got his own cameraman to invest in his business for equity. You can have existing clients fund your geographical expansion in exchange for better service. And if you're looking for sponsorships, don't pitch the brand directly. Pitch their media buyers who already hold the massive advertising budgets. Finally, we hit Section 5, Building a Purpose-Driven Team. Managing purpose, not people. So, how do you actually scale a company gracefully without creating a toxic bureaucratic management nightmare? Well, I want you to evaluate your own team for a second. Ask yourself right now, who are your 7s and 8s? Because these are actually the absolute most dangerous types of employees in any growing business. It's not the terrible performers, it's the 7s and 8s. This brings us to the 7 and 8 rule. These are the employees who are just competent enough to avoid being fired. They just coast along. But here is the fatal flaw with that. Their accepted mediocrity will absolutely drive your 9s and 10s to quit. Your absolute top performers refuse to carry dead weight. If you don't grow a backbone and fire those 7s and 8s, your absolute best people will get fed up and walk right out the door. Here is the exact action plan you need to implement based on employee caliber. Your 1s and 2s, you let them go immediately. I mean, everyone knows they aren't a fit anyway. Your 7s and 8s, you have to fire them to save your company's culture, even though it's incredibly hard to do. But your 9s and 10s, you don't just pay them well, you align them with actual equity. Giving true ownership to your top performers is the ultimate undeniable secret to achieving zero turnover among the rock stars who actually drive your business forward. Which brings this entire explainer full circle to one brilliantly simple quote: manage purpose, not people. If you embed a genuinely strong purpose into the very DNA of the business, and you only hire people whose personal values align perfectly with that purpose, the day-to-day management basically handles itself. You will never need to micromanage because everyone is intrinsically motivated by the exact same mission. I want to leave you with a pretty provocative question to chew on today. Are you just building a business to make a quick buck, or are you building a legacy brand? Because businesses are stressful, and they are fleeting. But a brand built on deep purpose, a liquid mind map, delayed gratification, and true equity, that will last forever. Stop chasing short-term profits and start applying these frameworks today to build something truly undeniable.